Put the content out. Put the content out. Do what you do. Trying to feed the viewers. Oh, by the way, hello viewers. Me again. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. Got two Elden Ring articles here. One from the Forbes. Listen to this. Elden Ring's Nightreign director does not care about Concord Suicide Squad failures. Man, it says here Elden Ring's Nightreign was one of the most interesting and surprise debut at the Game Awards. A co-op multiplayer survival game that is unlike anything we've seen from the IP so far. And the third Elden Ring release in 3 years. Impressive. IGN interviewed Elden Ring Nightreign director Junya Shizukai and asked him about the recent failures of big multiplayer games like Concord and Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League shuttered after 2 weeks and 1 year respectively. As you might expect, a From Software director is not exactly basing his decision on the things that here's what Shizukai said. We don't tend to look at industry and base our game design or our concerns on what's going on in that short of more general sense. We feel like if we're making something we're passionate about and that we want to make and that we enjoy playing, we trust the users will share that experience and hopefully enjoy as well. Says here also, we want to be clear that Nightreign is not like a live service game. Once you buy Nightreign, you get the complete package. Everything is unlockable out of the gate. So we want it to be clear that this is what we wanted to make. It's not intended as a live service game. And then it says here, the Concord Suicide Squad comparison are not the most relevant. Concord was a multiplayer shooter meant to run for multiple changing seasons with new additions. Suicide Squad was the same thing except co-op rather than PvP. Elden Ring Nightreign is co-op with a roster of 8 characters with different kits, but the similarities end there with a survival loop unlike anything in those games. And then it says in parentheses, what I thought was, close parentheses, obvious fact that this was not going to be something cracking out this season and new characters all the time. Millennia themed battle pass, Raider armor skins sold in store for platinum runes. Yeah, not happening. Says here, still, there are some Elden Ring players that think this is poor direction from software to go and accuse them of trend chasing. In reality, it doesn't seem like that at all, and they're just wanting to do something interesting with the IP to focus on somewhat minimal co-op aspect of the game and turn it into something more interesting. Then it says here, I will say right now, which will not be a terrible bold prediction, that Elden Ring Nightreign will be a hit unlike those other disasters, and who knows, could even secure Elden Ring's 3rd Game of the Year nomination in 3 years, which would be pretty unprecedented. Even 2 was unprecedented, right? Question mark. Then it says, this will do well. This is not trend chasing. At this point, it is safe to bet to trust From Software knows what it's doing. And that's the end of the article. This article is on Forbes. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. Well, okay, you got Elden Rings. All right, the main game. You got Shadows of the Earth Tree. Okay, the expansion, right? They said they weren't making any more expansions, right? According to them. Now you come out with Nightreign, and it's a it's like co-op and PvP and all that. but no live service. Well, and based on the trailer, expectations are high. So, will Nightreign be a hit? The only way we'll find that answer out is if you get the game when it comes out next year for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So we'll know then. But based on the trailer and based on what From Software has delivered so far, there's no doubt. So we'll see. You know. So the trailer, I'm sure people probably watch it over and over again, can't get enough of it. You know, like one commenter said, he said he stand up in front of the TV and he was he was stunned. He was stunned. He didn't see it coming. Look, the last time I talked about Elden Rings, Miyazaki was talking about they were going to visit the area on the map, and we didn't know that. None of us knew that it was going to turn into this. So, yeah, we're all. I mean, all the Elden Ring fans are like stunned right now, but they're impressed by what they see so far. So we got to wait till next year. Now, as far as we got to wait till next year. But as far as Suicide Squad goes, some games. Let's see. Hold up here. It says Suicide Squad and Concord. Suicide Squad. Some games can be live service. Some games can be live service, and others can't. So Suicide Squad should have been on the should have been just like how Rocksteady released the Batman Arkham games, where they were on multi-platform. Suicide Squad should have been on like the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and of course PC. But they went live service with it. Concord, on the other hand, I think Concord should have been on the PS4 too. Not just PlayStation 5. Because you got to remember that the PS4 and Xbox One, are benefiting, from the pandemic, and since the PS4 and Xbox One got a nice little user base, maybe those games should have been on the console. The same could be said for Gotham Knights. I thought Gotham Knights should have been on the PS4 and Xbox One. But that's just me. But some games can be live service and others can't. Now take the Avengers. WB gave Crystal Dynamics a blueprint to work with. Gave them a blueprint, laid it all out for them to see it. Because if you looked at DC Universe, it was on the PlayStation 3 and PC. So they had a blueprint to work with. And all Crystal Dynamics had to do was look at the blueprint and say, okay, we're going to build the Avengers this way. And if they would have did just that, because did just that, the game would have been successful. But they didn't. They went against it. And they paid the price. So some games can be live service and others can't, And Suicide Squad, it was open world. The world was open. It wasn't in the state where the Avengers was at. But I would say the character models could have been designed a little bit better. But it was open world. I just think the game got attacked early. I think that game got attacked really early, and most people, like I've always said on YouTube, you don't want to follow the crowd, so to speak. I think the game got attacked early, so people didn't see where the attack was coming from. And then by the time they got the game, and then they start playing it, they realizing that what people was getting mad at the game of getting mad at the game about wasn't the actual case. It was because the game, you know, one, it was one one, it should have been released like how Batman was released, and two, it wasn't a Batman game, so they attacked it early and threw a lot of people's off, and a lot of people got caught up in that big old uproar, so to speak. It's not like with say Star Wars Battlefront, where players were playing it and then they discovered that there was a loot box system that was put in the game. You know, the Suicide Squad was attacked early before the thing even hit the store shelves. The same could be said for like say Starfield. You know, Bethesda never did a beta testing or anything like that. They just show some like a 15-minute gameplay footage, and what most people did was like they attacked the game. They tried to use the gameplay footage and try to act like they were actually playing the game when they never sat in front of the screen and really played it. They were using the gameplay footage to try to tear the game down before the game even got on the store shelves. So when I said when it comes to YouTube, don't follow the crowd, I really mean it, because sometimes people will get you wrapped up into such a big uproar will happen, and then you're like, okay, where's this attack coming from? You know, like where's this attack coming from, and is it really needed, and is it really warranted? And then a lot of times when you look at it, you're realizing that, like, you know, it was just people creating like conflicts when it didn't need to be created. So when it comes to like, you know, say like Concord, you know, I mean, Concord should have been on the Concord should have been on the like the PlayStation 4, you know, and PlayStation 5, and even PC, because they all, you know, if that's the route Sony should have taken. And when it came to the Suicide Squad, now Rocksteady, you know, should have shouldn't I mean, I wouldn't say shouldn't make it a live service game. They should have put that game like on the PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS5, and then gather feedbacks from all the users on those platforms, and PC, gather feedbacks from all the users, and then use that feedback to fix whatever they need to fix, and then improve the game. The same could be said for Crystal Dynamics with the Avengers, if they were fully committed to the project. You know, they should have listened to the feedbacks the players were giving them, and then use that to fix the game. You know, I mean, look at Rare with Sea of Thieves. Rare releases Sea of Thieves, and a lot of people laughed at it. But what Rare did, Rare opened a line of communication with the users, and it was a back and forth thing, and they were listening and communicating with the users, and they turned those feedbacks into updates. And look at Sea of Thieves now. See the difference? So when it comes to like Elden Rings right now, they From Software, you know, got a nice user base. You know, I think they gave you the single player experience. They gave you the single player experience of Elden Rings, but now they were like, okay, now we need to bring the PvP PvE co-op play style of Elden Rings to the forefront, and that's what I think they're doing. So when it comes to this you know, this gaming stuff, man, I mean, they're trying to me when I look at the whole situation, it's like they're trying to cover both angles, the single player experience and then the PvP experience, and then, you know, make sure everybody, you know needs are covered. I think that, I mean, based on what they've done so far with the games that they've released, that they're gonna follow through on this, you know. And I think once they release Nightreign, they're gonna be listening to the feedbacks that they're getting, from the users, and they're gonna use that to help build the game. But me personally, I want to see how this game runs. I like the trailer. I like the trailer is pretty interesting. I was like, no, they didn't, but they did, man. So yeah, so it's gonna be good, man. I mean, it's built in the Elden Ring universe. You got the single player experience, okay, fine. But now we're gonna give you the multiplayer PvP version of it. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it turns out, how they're gonna follow through on this. So yeah, but I mean, they built, like they say, they built the game, like based on by like listening to players, man. So that's what you're gonna have to do in today's gaming world. You're gonna have to listen. So yeah, From Software is not playing around here. So like the article says, it'll be interesting to see if they get what's this? They said a Game of the Year nomination, and it looked like they're on the verge of achieving that. So they got their work cut out for them with this one, because a lot of people gonna be playing it, because now you're not just playing Elden Rings by yourself. Now you're playing it with friends, so yeah. So it's gonna be fun, man, to see how this expansion is gonna turn out, when it comes out, man. I mean, Game of the Year with the single player version, but then to top that off with the multiplayer aspect, yeah. I mean, they have the experience, man. So I'm sure they did this. I'm sure they did this because of the feedbacks they were getting too from the users from the single player versions of Elder Rings, or maybe that's something that they thought of. It just crossed their mind, and they just took it there to say, why not, yeah. So they say you're getting the complete package. That means you're getting everything. Okay. Versus going live service. Okay. All right. Yeah. Should be good, man. So next year we're looking forward to it. The portable PC players, they're looking forward to it. The PlayStation user base looking forward to it. Xbox user base looking forward to it, and of course desktop and laptop gamers, man, looking forward to it, man. So yeah, I mean the trailer right now got 1 million+ views, and people are still looking at it. So yeah, should be good, man. Should be good, man. So I'm sure they probably was working on this. They probably was working on this like as soon as they started Elden Rings. They probably, since they started the base game, they probably were like working on it since then. So yeah, now it's time to give it a go. Next year it's time to give it a go. So get ready for it. So yeah, but live service games, man. Some games can be live service, and others can't. Others can't be live service. So it's just you just gotta. Not every game has to be live service. You gotta have balance. You gotta have some games that are live service and others you can't. So yeah. So but those games that are those games like Concord could be fixed if the developers are fully committed to it. Suicide Squad Killer Justice League can be fixed, if they're committed to it. The Avengers can definitely be fixed if they're committed to it. If they're committed to fixing, if they're committed to like listening and taking feedbacks and then using that feedback to build a game, those games can be fixed. Those games they're not dead or a failure by any mean. It all comes down to how committed are these developers. If just because a game didn't start off right, the question is how committed are they to the project. The same could be said for for Anthem. Anthem could be Anthem can be fixed. Just saying. So, yeah. I mean, it all comes down to how committed these these developers are to their projects. When they just because they didn't have that fantastic start like they were supposed to. They didn't get the reception that they were supposed to. The question is now, since they didn't get that reception that they were supposed to, how committed are they to going back now to fixing what they need to fix in the game, and then so they can get so the game can get to that place where it needs to be. The same could be said for our Redfall. The same could be said for Redfall. How committed are these developers to these projects? When they don't have that start that they're supposed to have. How committed are they? So, because I mean, it tests. Because I mean, just because you didn't have a strong start at the very beginning, that don't mean it's over. How committed are you to the project? And I gave you an example of Rare Studios with Sea of Thieves when they came out with it. That game didn't get a strong reception when it came out. You had people laughing at it, but those same people that were laughing at it are playing it now. So yeah, how committed are they? Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing, though. But Elden Ring players are looking forward to this Nightreign. I'm sure they're watching the trailer probably more than once, So yeah, they're looking forward to it. So yeah, that user base is nice. They're looking for. They get to play with their friends now. I mean, they do have the single player of the base game and the Shadows of the Erdtree, but now with Nightreign, now you're gonna add players. So we'll see how they feel when the game comes out. Did it meet the expectations? So yeah, but these directors, the directors of Elden Rings, they're fully committed to this. So so they're giving players the complete package. So yeah, get ready. 2025 is almost here though. So today is like what's this? December the 14th. So in another what's that? 17. 14 and 14 is 28. So another 17 days and the New Year's here. So yeah, get ready for it. For you portable PC users, though, get your storage in check. Yeah, keep your storage in check. So you need that. You need a 2 terabyte of SSD to collect all the system updates. But then you put your games on a micro SD card. So yeah, get ready for it. Desktop, they can put as much hard drives as they want. Laptop is the same. Console gamers, yeah. Xbox, get you some storage expansions for that game when it comes out. Same thing goes for PlayStation. So yeah, the developer, they're fully committed to this, man. So that day is approaching. And the thing is too, we don't know if it's gonna come out in the first quarter of the year, second quarter, third quarter, or the fourth quarter. We don't know if it's coming out in the spring, the summer, autumn, the winter. So yeah, get ready for it. But it is coming though, that's for sure. So for you players, send them your feedbacks. Give them your feed. Don't tear the game down. Don't tear the game down just yet. Send them your feedbacks. Because in today's gaming world, it's about communication. You can't just attack a game anymore. You got to talk to these developers. Because they need help. So maybe maybe your feedbacks to them, your feedbacks that you send them, will inspire them to work on the game. But if you just tear them down and then tear them down, they might feel like what's that word I'm looking for? Discouraged on not working on a project. So your words do matter. So you have to talk to these developers. They are human. They are humans. So which means they got feelings and emotions and all that. So you're gonna have to talk to them. Send them the feedbacks, and then inspire them to work on the game, you know. Put it that way. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy though. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, on Star Wars and Star Trek. Thank you. Dark Side. Go. Peace.